What's going on, y'all? Welcome to another video. Of course, if you've seen the news, the video title and all of that, you know that today's video is going to be breaking down the Giannis trade. And initially, my first reactions, I'll link it in the comment section below. Uh, I recorded a video with the Hustle and Hardwood podcast where you got my earliest reaction to the entire trade. But after getting to sleep last night and think over the trade, I still don't think my reaction has changed. I still think this was a bad move for Miami, and I'll break it down. So let's get into it. Starting with Shams Charania and his report on the trade. The Milwaukee Bucks are trading franchise icon Giannis Antetokounmpo and Bobby Portis to the Miami Heat for Tyler Hero, Kel'el Ware, Jaime Jaquez Jr., and Kasparis Giannakis. Probably butchered that name. Sorry. Three first round picks, including pick 13 in tonight's NBA draft, one pick swap, and one second rounder. The Heat are sending Milwaukee unprotected first rounders in 2031 and 2033, along with the 13th pick of tonight's draft, a pick swap in 2030, and a 2033 second rounder. I, I'm shocked that the draft capital isn't the best, but I mean, it's draft capital at the end of the day. And Miami has been a struggling team getting in the play-in a lot. And so those picks are going to hit for Milwaukee unless Giannis and Bam and Miami succeed from this trade. But I just don't see it happening. I really don't. Um, Both the Heat and Bucks execute this deal by July 6th, which leaves the framework open to see if there are opportunities to expand. Last June, the Phoenix Suns and Houston Rockets agreed to a deal that ultimately increased to a historic 17 trade. Of course, it's referring to the Kevin Durant to the Houston Rockets trade. So I do think more things will happen in this trade because I don't like it. I don't like it. I really don't. When I look at this Miami Heat team, I saw it. It was a struggling team. I mean, with their current base roster, they were barely getting to the play-in. They were a struggling team, and then they move on from Jimmy Butler, and they do get worse. Overall, I think. Now, they have a great head coach, and Pat Riley is amazing, but I just don't think the roster is anything near close to being good. If you were already struggling with the roster you had and you gave up four up and coming guys for your roster, you gave them all away for one older veteran who's coming off injuries. I don't know if that's the best for Miami. I think ultimately this trade came down to location, and I think Giannis obviously wanted a nice location, Miami being a wonderful city. But I just I don't see this being putting either team in title contention. I think the Bucks barely improve, and I just I don't see it going anywhere positively for the Bucks. It's the players aren't anything special right now, at least in their careers, and the draft capital it's not a needle mover. It's helpful, but it's not a needle mover. And then when you look at Miami, you think Davion Mitchell, Norman Powell, Andrew Wiggins, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and Bam Adebayo. This is one of the sorriest rosters I think I've seen Giannis be a part of. Norman Powell's cool, but I mean, when he was from the Clippers and then he went to the Heat, and people thought he was going to go off because the Clippers didn't want to pay him, so Miami was gonna, and he wasn't really that big of a name. And then you're like, oh well, you have Bam. Bam had 83, and then you're like, oh, but it was against the worst team in the NBA. Then you look at Andrew Wiggins and you think, well, he was only involved in the trade because it sent Jimmy Butler to the Warriors. This team is not exciting. It really isn't. I mean, it'll give Miami more eyes watching them. But Giannis, this it hurts because I don't think this puts Giannis in title contention. And I said it earlier. I think this is a location-based decision. Giannis wanted a nice city and not a team that's going to win a championship. And that kind of hurts because I really like Giannis. And I just don't see this being successful for him, but I'm willing to be wrong. I would love to see Giannis and the Heat succeed, but I don't see it happening. And I think the issue with me not seeing it happen is this roster is lackluster still. Even with Giannis, it's still a lackluster roster. But I also think defensively, this team's good. I mean, it's Bam and Giannis. But offensively, who do you run the game through? Giannis is going to have to bring down the ball still, which you would think is fine, but come on, he's getting older and he's got recent injuries to deal with. You shouldn't have to have your power forward bring down the ball. Giannis, I really was wanting to see Giannis go to a team with a point guard or a shooting guard, but primarily a point guard. And that's why I also think if he were to go to the Celtics, it also wouldn't work. Because here's the thing. While yes, Jaylen Brown has been troublesome for the Celtics, at the end of the day, he's a great player and he works so well alongside Jason Tatum. But if you put Giannis and Tatum together, again, that's a power forward, small forward type deal. You don't have a playmaking point guard. I don't want to hear no Derek White. I don't want to hear no Peyton Pritchard. Those are not guys that are playmakers. They're great guards and helpful guards, but they're not playmakers. They're not what the Celtics need. You cannot lose Jaylen Brown and get Giannis and expect your offense to be just as smooth. Okay? Giannis, Kendrick Perkins said it on First Take earlier today. I don't know if I can play the clip, but he said Giannis Antetokounmpo will not win a championship playing as the number one option on the team. And to me, I agree. I think with where Giannis is currently standing in his career, he cannot be the one to bring down the ball and have the offense run through him. I think it has to be a guard that can feed Giannis. Giannis cannot feed himself the ball. It's too risky. If you know me, I was really, really hoping I could see Giannis go to the Lakers. Was it possible? Who knows? I don't know how trading could have worked with that team. I don't know the whole Austin Reeves situation, but what I can tell you is if Giannis went to the Lakers, the reason why they would be the best team in the league is because Giannis doesn't need to worry about bringing down the ball and running the offense through him. You run it through Luka. And yes, Luka's also a scorer, but guess what? He's also a passer. So Luka will feed the ball to Giannis whenever needed, and Giannis will get his buckets. Giannis has no one to help him in Miami. Because guess what? Bam he's not a guard. He's not a guard. Two bigs working off of each other, that is way, way less likely to work out than a guard and a big working together. So I don't see this trade being beneficial for Miami. I don't see it being beneficial for Giannis, for Milwaukee. I think you could have found better trade destinations for Giannis. Now, I'm not going to sit here and act like what Miami gave up was bad, but I just feel like these aren't guaranteed players. They're not solidified players, and then these draft picks. From what I'm seeing, 3 first-round picks are going to be good, but at the end of the day, your draft picks are only as good as the players you take. And if you don't take anyone good with those picks, people will call this the worst trade in NBA history. Okay? They called it Luka's trade, and, well, it's looking pretty bad. But guess what? At least the Mavericks have Cooper Flag. What's Milwaukee got? Tyler Hero. They're not the same. They're not the same. So, I don't know. I don't know how to feel. I think it's going to look cool seeing Giannis in Miami, but I don't see this going anywhere. I really don't. And it hurts me to say that because I really like Giannis and I want to see him win a championship. I don't think Miami is going to be that team. I don't think if he went to Boston, they would have won a championship. As ridiculous as that sounds. There was talks about possibly him going to Golden State. I don't know if that would have worked either. It's so difficult to say. I think it would have worked because, again, you got your point guard in Steph Curry. At the end of the day, it just depends on how the offense is ran. I don't know if the offense with Giannis and Bam is a great pair. I don't like that pairing. Willing to be wrong, though, but I don't like that pairing. Besides that, I mean, we still have a few more days until this trade gets finalized, so more teams can enter, and I think they will because I mentioned earlier Bobby Portis is involved in the trade, and I mean Bobby Portis I don't think is needed on this Heat team if you already have Bam and Giannis, so Bobby Portis might get shipped somewhere else. So we'll just have to wait and see on all of that. Hoping the best for Giannis. I will add this though. I will add this. Contracts, I don't know how they work in the NBA. But what I can tell you is Giannis, I think, is on his final year of Milwaukee's contract going into next season. So, with that being said, he only has this 1 year with the Heat. If it works out, then resign. Resign. Stay with them longer. You like the city, and you can win here possibly. So, you can resign. If things don't go well for Giannis here in this 1 year with Miami, again, I think it's 1 year. Um, he can leave. He can leave. Enter free agency. Right your wrongs and go to a team like the Lakers. I'm gonna be pushing it. I'm a, if it takes 2 years, it takes 2 years. Giannis will be a Laker alongside Luka Doncic. You can stamp this moment right now in this recording. Giannis will be a Laker after next season because it's not going to work in Miami. And he's going to do everything to get out of there. Unless Miami gets a point guard, but right now they don't got a point guard. They don't. So, with that being said, my thoughts on the Giannis trade, I don't think either team wins. I really don't. The Bucks, it was a slight positive move in the positive direction, but I don't know. And if you're the Heat, you were already a struggling team and you gave up majority of your roster for one guy. So if Giannis doesn't help here, you guys are done. Like this is going down as the worst trade. I think this will go down as a worse trade than Luka Doncic to the Lakers. Because here's the thing. The Mavericks recovered. I don't see the Heat recovering from this, especially because Giannis, after this one season, if nothing happens with Miami, and I'm right about his whole contract situation where he can just enter free agency, then it's really going to look bad if he just does 1 year with you, realizes, wow, this was a huge bad decision on my end. I'm going to go to LA, or I'm going to go here, I'm going to go to New York, I'm going to go to San Antonio, Oklahoma, who knows? Minnesota, who knows? He could go anywhere, assuming he becomes a free agent next year and he opts out of his player option. So with that being said, Giannis, I'm rooting for you.